Mine is on the FX end, and yours is on the phone's controller.
Mine's good. Mine's good right now.
Okay, I'm going to turn mine down just a little bit.
Yep, mine sounds good.
Okay, it looks like we've got a good level on you.
Check.
Yep, you're good. And then it looks like I'm matching you, so we should be good there.
Yeah. It's going to be a good night for football, I think.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to power up. Hello and welcome, sports fans, to this live video streaming event from Table Rock Sports Productions in partnership with our local school districts and outstanding sponsors who make these presentations possible. I'm Jim McCoy along with Mark McLemore on the camera, David Alvarez coming to you live from Lithia Driveway Field number 10 in Medford, Oregon, and we thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Lithia Superstore pregame show, powered by Siskiyou Cellular in Southern Oregon and featuring the Coquille Red Devils versus the Cascade Christian Challengers. We're pleased to bring you this game on TableRockSports.net in partnership with the Grace Cascade Christian School District and our sponsor, Business Partners. Joe Brett is the executive producer for this event. Our sponsors keep these events free for fans to enjoy. Please let them know that you appreciate their support. Please help Table Rock Sports by subscribing to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, search Table Rock Sports and click on the red subscribe button. And thanks if you already have. Moments away from a game that features a couple of undefeated teams from Special District 3, some of the remains of the old Far West League. The Challengers in at 3-0. The Red Devils coming in at 3-0. Coquille, a state champion in the 2A ranks last season. And it's been about 6 years since these two teams connected. And Mark, if you're a Challenger fan, that memory is a little bit painful.
Well, it is. It was a very rainy day over in Coquille that day, if you remember right. That was a state playoff game that we went to and did over in Coquille. They had the home field advantage, so give them credit for that. And it was quite an advantage that day, if you remember right.
Very muddy, and I think if I remember right, there were probably some cleats that maybe our guys could have worn but didn't, and they just weren't ready for it.
And Coquille ran what I think we're going to see a lot of tonight, which is ran the wing tee. And it was doing the, 4 yards in a cloud of dust down the field against the Challengers. They held onto the ball. They didn't give Cascade the ball very often. And they were just really very disciplined about what they were doing. And they were able to pick up those gains. And the Challengers just could not stop the running attack that night in that muddy field, or on that muddy field, I should say. And Coquille ended up pulling away with a victory. And then they lost, I believe, in the next round of the playoffs, the semifinals that year. So the Challengers gave them a pretty good game over there, but they just couldn't stop the run, and that's what they're going to have to do tonight if they're going to win this game.
Absolutely. Well, and here's a stat to throw on you from our crack research historian Ryan Sample, is that since 2016, the Cascade Christian Challengers 53-12, the Coquille Red Devils 53-10.
Yeah, both teams with very good resumes coming into this one. As you mentioned, last year the Red Devils were the state champions in the 2A, and due to their enrollment, they're back up in 3A again this year. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out tonight. It's the first real game the Challengers are going to have.
Well, we have a couple of teams with identical records but contrasting styles. What we're going to do right now is we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll be back with more after these messages.
Father, we thank you tonight for just a really, really good evening in the Rose Valley. We thank you for the clear skies, Father. We thank you for the chance to be out here under the stars.
What do you do when you get into a car accident and want to know your rights? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
It's Jeep Adventure Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Gladiator 4x4s or test drive a new 22 Ram 1500 Crew Cab 4x4. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. During Jeep Adventure Days, you'll save big on every new vehicle in stock only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
So what do you do when you get injured on the job and need to know your rights with workers' compensation? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Come enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
This portion of our pregame show is brought to you by Bill's Glass. Bill's Glass is the clear choice in Southern Oregon for almost 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass. You look at the rankings and you look at the league standings, and it's really kind of a case of the haves and have-nots, Mark. We looked at the Lancers, the state runner-ups from last year, the Challengers, the Red Devils, and St. Mary's are all 3-0. And then from there, it just kind of falls off a bit. And really, I think this is the only game we have tonight where somebody's going to fall from the ranks of the unbeaten.
Yeah, these are the two 3-0 teams tonight that are playing. And then, like you mentioned, those four teams are at 3-0. Then you have North Valley, Douglas, and Lakeview at 1-2. And you have Phoenix, Brookings, and Sutherland down at the bottom at 0-3. And so those teams that are down at the bottom, toward the bottom, Douglas, Brookings, and Sutherland are the teams the Challengers have played so far. And so if you look at their OSAA ranking, they're only ranked 14th in the state right now due to their competition. Remember, the OSAA rankings have to do with the record of the team you're playing against, and how they're doing when they're playing other teams is how you get, points, so to speak, and move up in the rankings. So far the Challengers have played, teams in the bottom of their league, and tonight will be a great opportunity for them to get a win here against Coquille and move up in those rankings. The winner of this game is going to definitely take a big jump up in the rankings and get into the top 10 next week.
Absolutely. Captains are out at midfield. They'll settle who will receive first and what way they'll go. Thanks to our sponsors for powering our live high school athletic streams, including our title sponsor, Lithia Superstore, Jeep Dodge Chrysler. Visit lithiasuperstore.com to find your next ride. Also, thank you to our presenting sponsor, Siskiyou Cellular of Southern Oregon, with 7 locations to serve you.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Jim. We're going to see two contrasting styles. The Challengers are going to want to spread it out and throw the ball, and the Red Devils are going to want to keep it tight and run it. And you're going to see a lot of guys in the backfield, double tight end for them most of the game with a single receiver split out. And they're going to try and see if they can push the Challengers around and use some misdirection in the backfield to be able to push the ball down the field. They want to possess the ball and keep it out of the Challengers' hand, make the game shorter by doing that and running the football. That's exactly what they did and how they beat the Challengers the last time these two teams met.
By the same token, the Cascade Christian Challengers come in posting gaudy statistics on either side of the ball. They've only allowed 12 points total in 3 games. I think one of the things that will be interesting to watch is how this wing T offense of the Red Devils goes up against the Challenger front 7, which I think even with some of the guys they have banged up right now, that they're still been quite formidable so far.
Yeah, they really have, and I think that will be the key is will the Red Devils be able to move the football. I suspect that in the first quarter to 2 quarters they will, but I think eventually the Challengers are going to figure that little wing T thing out, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to move the football because, the wing T is there's a lot of misdirection, and as long as a defense you stay home and keep your assignment, you're not going to get big plays against you, and so it'll take a long, slow, methodical drive for the Red Devils to get down the field if you do it the right way. And the chance of that happening, the longer the drive goes, the more chance of something else happening, like an interception or a fumble or a turnover on down. So the Challengers just want to not give up the big plays and keep the ball in front. And we'll see how that works and stay home on their assignments. For the Red Devils, they want to possess the ball. They want to run that clock. And the biggest thing the Challengers can't do is let them get too far ahead.
Right.
If you're the Cascade Christian Challengers, you get ahead of them, and they will have to change what they do to try and catch up.
Back deep to receive, wearing their road white uniforms tonight, are the Red Devils. the deep men. Number 27 is sophomore running back Thomas Farron. And joining him there in the back is number 28. He's a running back and linebacker, a sophomore, Cameron Houston. Mason Hoffman, new to the kicking game. We'll see him tonight as a starting linebacker, but he's handled the place kicking chores and just kind of really continuing to grow in that role. We saw as the Brookings game went on, started getting a little bit more depth on his kicks, and I think just for him, it's just a matter of getting the reps.
Yep, I think you're exactly right.
Kind of a shallow kick, and there to take it is one of the starting tight ends, Zach Farmer. We'll go ahead and give you the starting lineup for tonight's ball game. And post that here on the board for you. At quarterback will be Gabe Martinez, wearing number 14. He'll be joined in the backfield by Hayden Gaderos and Waylon Messerly. Split end is Hunter Layton, and the tight end, Zach Farmer and Peyton Leap. We'll get you the rest of that offensive lineup after this first play from scrimmage. Martinez under center. And the hand is to He'll pick up, looks like about 3 yards on the play. So that lineup for you again. We got to get these linemen in for you. Oliver Gerard, Tom Riley, Thomas Vig, Andrew Matlock, and Riley Jones. 2nd down and 7. Martinez rolling out to his right. Pass comes up just a little bit short, intended for Levi Hoyle, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, and you can see already that the Challenger defense is crowding the line of scrimmage, and that was the right call there on 2nd down by Coquille to get that ball, try to lengthen the field a little bit by throwing it down the field, because you're seeing 7-8 guys in the box. When you're looking at the defense for Cascade Christian, there is single coverage up top on the wide receiver.
3rd and 7. The Red Devils go to the ground game once again, to the delight of the Challenger faithful here in attendance tonight. Good crowd at Lithia and Driveway Fields. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, maybe a yard on the play.
No gain on the play brings up 4th down.
And Coquille's going to have to punt right here. And that Challenger defense looks good in that first series against the Red Devils and gets a 3 and out and the ball back to the offense. And the Red Devils are going to pick up a false start penalty by the wide out player here on my side. You could see that, I think. Moved a little bit early.
Well, big plays, those played a big part in the Challenger victories throughout the season. Last game against Brookings Harbor, they blocked a punt after the Bruins' initial series, and it just seemed like it all kind of went downhill from there. And here, of course, Coach Thomason, I'm sure, not wanting to give the Challengers any additional help, as Tyler Almacy makes the catch, slips a tackler. He crosses the 40-yard line, gets up toward midfield as he spins out of traffic. Nice return, and I mean, I'm sure that he didn't mean to do it, but you have to call it.
You do, and definitely a late hit there as Almacy is out of bounds and he gets hit by one of the Coquille players. So a nice return of about 20 yards, and then they're going to get an additional 15 on the late hit out of bounds penalty. Challengers are going to be in very good field position here.
So their Challenger offense for you, it's junior Ashton Moody at quarterback. He'll be joined by Cameron Ragu. Wideouts are Brody Sample, Peyton Maurer, Christopher Freilich, and Tyler Almacy. Along that line, Jack Nips, Matt Moses, Daniel Nearing, Liam Bonatti, and Jackson Turi.
So there's a personal foul, and I believe there's a block in the back. So they're going to take the block in the back penalty back to the 40, which is a 10-yard penalty against Cascade Christian, and then they're going to take the 15-yard penalty against the Red Devils, which I guess they can't just do the math and walk forward 5 yards, but apparently they can't. So
no comment on my part. No comment. Let's check out that lineup for Coquille. Defensively, they'll come out with Andrew Matlock, Tom Riley, and Kieran Sherritt. Linebackers, Bo Messerly, Waylon Messerly, Hayden Gaderos, Peyton Leap, Zach Farmer. Secondary, Gage Martinez, Hunter Layton, and Levi Hoyle.
Oh.
And whistle blows.
A little quick out pass to Peyton Maurer, who was open in the flat, and just not a well-thrown ball that time. And you know, it was an open play. Got an easy 5 yards. Ashton Moody he rushed it a little bit. You know, sometimes you see that when the quarterback on the first play, a little bit hyped up, and he just overthrew Maurer in the flat for, like I said, for an easy 5 yards.
Out of the shotgun, Ashton Moody, wearing number 7. Hands the ball to Ragu. Ragu, leading rusher on the team, crosses the 30, the 20, the 10, down the sideline. He outruns the posse, and he scores a touchdown for Cascade Christian.
So 45 yards on the first play from scrimmage that the Challengers actually run for a touchdown. And a nice block on the edge by Peyton Maurer that time. Gets him around the corner, and, that was a great block. And once he gets around that corner, you are not going to catch Ragu. And he goes all the way for the touchdown.
Well, he does a nice job. His block's set up for him, and you give him that kind of room, and there's nothing you can do if you're the opposition. On the other hand, if you're the Challengers, you love it. They're up 6-0 in the ball game. Mason Hoffman kicks it right down Broadway. It is good. So Cascade Christian on the board first. It's the Challengers 7 and the Red Devils nothing. We'll take a quick timeout and be back with more here on TableRockSports.net.
We would like to thank our 2022-23 presenting sponsors.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Any time is a good time to plan your funeral, except at the time of the funeral. At Conger Morris, we know that there are so many advantages to planning ahead. It eases the burden on our families at their worst time. Pre-planning also alleviates their stress, knowing the funeral costs are already taken care of. And it allows your service to be more meaningful, with all of your wishes being taken care of. Call us today for personalized assistance in creating your own plan. Conger Morris, we'll always be there.
Challengers getting ready to kick it away. Going up early by a score of 7-0. Challengers scoring on their first drive of the game. Again, another short kick, but they can often spell trouble. And in this case, it falls to the ground, and I believe that is Luke Wilson there?
Looks like it. And the Challengers pick up that football, and they get it. First down and 10 now at the Coquille 31.
Now, maybe I shouldn't bring this up because this has a way up, but here's what I'm going to say. You know that we'll say this: the Challengers are +9 in giveaway takeaway this year, and it's through those takeaways that the Challengers have done great things throughout the year.
And that's really an inexcusable one right there, Bill. Everybody on the field for your team should know that the kickoff is live. And it didn't even look like some of the Coquille players were hustling to the ball there a little bit, like they didn't know what to do. And that's unfortunate. And if you're because really nobody touched it from Coquille. The Challengers were the first ones to the football there.
1st and 10 for the Challengers. And the ball falls to the turf. I spoke too soon.
Yes, you did.
First fumble of the year for the Challengers. Brody Sample there on the fly sweep. And the Red Devils.
Just like that, they get the football back.
Catch a break.
See, you jinxed them, Jim.
Yeah. Should not have done that.
Ball is placed on the Coquille 40-yard line, first down.
You mentioned it, though. First turnover of the fumble. We've had, I think, one interception as well, right?
Just 2 on the whole year.
2 turnovers so far in the first, this being the 4th game now.
1st and 10. Martinez hands the ball. But again, that powerful front 7 of Cascade Christian doing its job there. Let's meet the defense for the Challengers. They run that 3-4 formation. Up front, Benatti, Moses, and Turi. Mason Hoffman, Brendan Van Mort, Cole Shields, Brody Sample, the linebackers. The defensive backs, all Macy, Ragu, Maurer, and Wilson.
Yeah, and that was Cole Shields making that tackle on the last play, filling the hole beautifully and hitting the back.
On 2nd down, pass complete to Guerreros.
And there's Brody Sample. You know, when you do something bad on offense, they always tell you, come back on defense and make a play. And right there you saw Brody make a play.
So that'll bring up 3rd and long for the Red Devils. So they're in that position they really don't want to be. Their preference would be to run some more. But
yeah, well, if you've ever seen Army run their offense at the college level, very similar to what the Red Devils are doing here.
Martinez getting pressure. Gets some blocking back there. He's just going to have to go ahead and try to take off and run with it himself. But he is taken down to bring up 4th down.
And he might have picked up a yard or 2 on the play.
And again, Brody Sample there.
4th and 12.
4th and 12. Looks like the punt team is in now for Coquille. And that Challenger defense is looking pretty darn good so far against that Coquille offense.
Far cry from what we saw in the state quarterfinals about 6 years ago. Ball punted away. Sample a little trouble with it. He's going to fall on it. And a little bit of...
well, that punt had a funny little float to it. And he probably was one of those knuckleballs coming down. And you could tell he totally misjudged it. But luckily he's able to get on it after the bounce.
So the Challengers, a little dance with danger there, but they keep possession of the football. And now an opportunity to see if they can extend that lead. They're going to go ahead. The receivers to the right side are in tight. I got Twins out to the left. Handing the ball off, goes to Ragu. Ragu slips a would-be tackler. He has a blocker downfield. He's going to sprint up the sidelines, and he could take it all the way, and he does.
58-yard touchdown run for Ragu. He's touched the ball twice, and he's got 2 long runs for touchdowns. Who needs a passing game when you got that going on, right?
Absolutely. And here we see on the replay, Ragu starts it up the middle. This time he breaks it left, and he just gets going, and he's gone.
As you've said before, outruns the posse.
Yes, he does. He's a slippery one to catch. So the Challengers. And Mason Hoffman in to attempt the point after. 13-0, 7:47 to go in the first. End-over-end kick. It hits the post and bounces out no good. So the Challengers up by a pair of scores. They lead in the ball game 13-0. We'll go ahead and take a timeout and be right back after this.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
13-0 ball game, about halfway into the first quarter of play. Farron and Houston back deep to receive the kick from Hoffman. Ball really hasn't been kicked anywhere near them. But this time,
fair caught that time. And that's the smart thing to do when you're dealing with that situation, because you can't get hit if you put that's why you see them putting that fair catch sign up. Then you get to go get the ball without being hit. And that was smart by Peyton Leap that time, putting his hand up, waving it, telling everybody he's going to make a fair catch and then go get the football. So nice job by Coquille that time.
And with the short kick, they've got decent field position.
Absolutely. 2 3-and-outs, though, so far for the Red Devils in this one. Challenger defense has been stellar so far.
Wing T set. They'll run it right. And rambling ahead for a pickup of a couple of yards, Waylon Messerly. Messerly ends up getting about 4 out of the play.
And see, this is what they want to do. Gain 4 yards a carry, run that clock, and keep a hold of the football so you don't have it.
Where your defense becomes
tired, hopefully.
Yeah, where your offense becomes your best defense.
Mm-hmm.
Leap lined up as kind of a wing back, dropping back, looking to throw is Martinez. Martinez, his throw off target. He was looking for Farmer, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 6.
And that's where, if you're going to run this wing T, you have to have a quarterback that can drop those passes right. I mean, he had a tight end that was open, but it would have had to been a very accurate little throw there, because Challengers were chasing him and in mostly good position. But he, if you throw that ball over his shoulder, he could have caught it.
3rd down and 6. Martinez, just a sophomore, but here leading the charge for Coquille. And Messerly once again with the carry.
He picks up a couple of yards.
That'll bring up a 4th down and 3.
And here's where, if you're the Challengers defense, you need to pay attention. It's 4th and short, and I'm sure they have a couple of different punt blocks in their, fake punts in their arsenal.
Hoyle getting ready to kick it away. There to take it is Tyler Almacy. Almacy cuts it outside, tries to run it back in, and then we have a flag coming in right there at the very end of the play.
Yeah, that's usually not a good sign.
If you're the return team, unless it was something like a late hit or something like that, usually for the return team, it's not good news.
And it's a hold against the Challengers.
Cascade.
So that'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot. And the Challengers will get the ball 1st and 10 at the 33.
.6:28 in the first quarter of play. Challengers jumping out early. And at least thus far, for Coquille, their challenge has been trying to get something going against that Challenger front 7 that's just pretty much bottled up every run.
So far, yeah. Nice job by the Challengers of adjusting to a team that plays a different offense than they've seen so far this year. And you saw a little bit of that with a few different guys in that as well.
Well, in talking with Coach Getman, we haven't seen the last of it either. That coming up against North Valley, we'll see the same thing. Here on 1st down, they'll go ahead and hand it to their leading
Number 2,
Cole Shields, who has been kind of now starting linebacker and the number 2 back for the Challengers in the absence of Tristan Wallace. But we talked at the beginning of the year about this depth that the Challengers have, that their number 1 back is out, but that does not mean that the Challengers are shorthanded.
No, it does not.
1st and 10 for the Challengers. They're at their own 41-yard line. 6:20 to go here in the first quarter of play. Moody with twin receivers each side. Has a man in motion. That's all Macy. They'll fire. Pass complete to Christopher Freilich. And the junior gets it into the Challenger. Gets it over on the offensive side of the field for a Challenger first down.
Yeah, nice decision that time by Ashton Moody, as he was looking out first for the little screen to the motion man, but then he saw Freilich pop open in the middle of the field. He makes a good read and makes a nice throw, picks up 18 yards on the play.
And as many Freilichs as we've seen over the years, did you know Christopher's not the last one?
I'm not surprised. So
it's like that commercial. But wait, there's more. Ashton Moody throwing it right. There is Peyton Maurer. Maurer gets a block.
Uh-oh.
And then the ball's loose on the turf. And
Peyton got his feet taken out from him, and it looked like the football popped out as he was going to the ground. And so it's going to be first down, Red Devils.
So the Challengers now with their second fumble of the ball game.
Yeah, very unlike Cascade Christian from what we've seen in the first 3 games.
Well, and both of those, and it's going to happen sooner or later, will happen on odd things, like with Sample, with the way that kick landed funny and trying to get on that, and then in Maurer's case, getting his feet taken out from underneath them, and then you're kind of hanging there in the air and just simply lose the handle on it. Matt Moses coming out of that nose tackle position into the ball game will be Daniel Nearing. Martinez, the quarterback, under center. Little pitch play. They'll work it out there for Guerreros. He looks like if he got anything, he might have gotten a yard out of it. It'll bring up a second down and long.
Yeah, that Challenger is doing a good job of keeping the edge there and not allowing any really gain on that play. Well, maybe a yard, I guess, like you said, but not much at all.
This Red Devil team, kind of a young one. Not many seniors on this team.
Yeah, I think there were only 5 I counted.
Yes, so, and you've got a lot of key guys who are underclassmen out there. So based on what they've done so far, you can say they've got something to build on here. And once again, trying to work that inside of the Challenger defense. And nothing happening there for the Red Devils as it brings up a second down and long. Make that third and long.
Yeah, so actually lost a yard on that play. So Challenger defense, again, looking good against the Red Devils, and they do not like to be in third and long here. So we'll see what happens here on this play. And if you're the Challenger defense, you're probably loosening up a little bit, trying to keep everything in front and rallying to the football.
Martinez with pressure, and there's Brody Sample.
Brody Sample just knocks him flat on his back.
Kind of hard to throw the ball if you don't have any time.
No, and he had none that time as Sample comes out on the blitz, and they lose about 7 or 8 yards on the play.
Ball spotted back at about the 11, making that a 4th and 17.
Yeah, so a big sack by the Challengers right there.
And Hoyle kicking it away. Returned by the Challengers. Macy up the far sideline. And he gets it inside the Challenger red zone.
Yeah,
down to the Coquille 18.
Yeah, about a 15-yard punt return there for the Challengers. And they are going to be in super good shape here. 1st and 10 now inside the 20.
13-0 Challengers with 3:33 left to go in the first quarter of play. Coming into the ball game is Luke Wilson as a wideout. Over to the right side of the field, we have Christopher Freilich in the slot. Peyton Maurer out wide.
Love to see him take a little shot to the slot receiver here. Freilich looks like he could run a corner route and he'd be wide open right now. but they're going to hand the ball.
And why not with good success? Although there's a flag on the play. Ragu cuts it across the grain and runs it in, but I have a feeling this is coming back.
Yeah, I think this is on Brody Sample because he's the one that's sort of standing over there looking a little guilty. And they're going to call it on him, so it's going to be a 10-yard holding penalty against the Challengers. So this one's coming back.
Holding on the Challengers.
So I'll go ahead and march the penalty off against the Challengers. Well, it'll give Challengers a little bit more work on this drive. A game right now 13-0, but it could almost just as easily be about 28-0 by now were it not for a couple of miscues on the part of Cascade. A couple of uncharacteristic miscues in this season so far.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We haven't seen that so far from the Challengers. They've played very clean football.
They're doing a little bit of fly sweep there. Brody Sample with it. He'll take it across the 20 down to the 15.
Yeah, nice gain that time by Sample as he picks up about 11 of those yards back that they had on the penalty.
Ball on the 15-yard line. Second down, 6.
Challengers now with trips out to the left side. Peyton Maurer out, split out wide to the right, the narrow side of the field. Moody hands to Ragu. Ragu gets behind his blockers this time. Good defensive play for the Red Devils. Hunter Layton there with the stop.
Yeah, nice tackle by Hunter Layton after he gets about 5 or 6 yards on the play.
Brings up third down.
So a third down play for the Challengers.
I think one of the first third downs we've seen so far in this game.
Well, if we had any, there haven't been many, that's for sure.
The Challengers have been very efficient so far offensively.
Ashton Moody looking to the sidelines, taking his time. And the flag comes out.
I think we have a false start on Cascade Christian.
Good ball, false start.
So a little bit of sloppiness for the Challengers here in the first quarter.
Absolutely.
We've gotten spoiled. We're not used to this.
Yeah, that's their fourth penalty already here in the quarter. And we've been seeing games where they've only had 4 or 5 penalties.
Right. Oh, yeah. Moody saw it. He takes that opening, and he busts it down inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, nice job, Moody, by taking a look at what was going on. I think he actually was supposed to hand that ball off, but there was a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield, and he goes ahead and just goes right up the middle for 15 yards and picks up a first down for Cascade Christian.
Coming into the game, Moody with 73 rushing yards and 3 scores on the season. Predictably, Ragu, the Challengers' leading rusher, with 180 on the season and a ridiculous yards per carry average as Shields checks into the ball game. They'll hand it to Shields, but Red Devils defense stands him up.
And he doesn't gain anything on the play that time.
Sherritt in there to make the play for the Red Devils to bring up 2nd and goal.
Second down.
Challengers knocking on the door with 49 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Shields, who has 61 yards on the season and a pair of TDs, an opportunity here late in the quarter. You're a pretty good team if Shields is your number 3 back.
Yeah, no kidding. They've got 3 really good ones.
Now they're going to go ahead and throw it out in the flat. The catch is made, and he gets over the line. Touchdown.
Pretty sure that's Al Macy, I think, out there, isn't it?
I believe you're right.
What are we talking about out here? Oh, there's a penalty flag.
Penalty flag down on the play.
Oh, no, that was Brody Sample, excuse me, on the catch.
Out there in the flat, Sample had to kind of scoop it up and just throws it right across.
Touchdown is good. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the challengers.
Oh, jeez.
So, a touchdown pass for Ashton Moody. That's his 7th of the season.
And then an unsportsmanlike call against the challengers. So I don't know what maybe the celebration, maybe, I guess. I mean, that's my only guess at this point because I didn't see anything else besides the challengers celebrating.
Right.
And maybe the referees did not like the celebration.
They monitor that stuff closely.
Yeah, they really do.
And
so now they're going to attempt the extra point. I suspect that that they'll enforce that penalty on the kickoff. Is what'll happen.
It looks like it from here.
And then they better get going because they're going to get a delay of game here if they don't watch it.
So Moody coming back in from the sideline.
They're going to go for two. Yeah.
Get that one back that was unsuccessful after the last touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Empty backfield. A quartet to the right. And a fifth to the left. And Moody.
Right up the middle.
Scoots it in. And the 2-point conversion is good. 21-0 ball game with 23 seconds here to go in the first quarter of play. We'll keep it right here as we recognize some of those that make this sports presentation possible. We're inviting you to make sure that a visit to Tap Rock Northwest Bar and on the banks of the Rogue River is included on your next trip to Grants Pass. First-class food and a new menu awaits you. The gem of the Thomason Hospitality Group, Tap Rock. Also want to remind you that tickets are on sale now for the Medford Sports Hall of Fame induction banquet October 22nd at the Rogue Valley Country Club. Social hour at 5, dinner and awards begin shortly thereafter. Go to MedfordParksFoundation.org and click the events tab. A really great event to recognize those that have made an impact in the rich sports history of Southern Oregon. You never know, but maybe one of these guys that we're watching tonight, they might get inducted someday. So check that out. So go to the MedfordParksFoundation.org. Challengers in the driver's seat, leading 21-0. And
yeah, the Challengers already have 149 yards on the ground so far in this football game in the first quarter, to just 5 yards for Coquille so far. And you can see the penalty being assessed on the kickoff down there. So now the Challengers are going to kick all the way back from the 25-yard line, which, Mason Hoffman is not the deepest kicker. So I would suspect that Coquille should get the ball somewhere around midfield or maybe on their own 40 after the kickoff. So they're going to have excellent field position to start this drive.
Mason Hoffman getting ready to kick it away. The junior linebacker has done some growing over the summer. And another pop-up kick. It's loose on the turf. And I think I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, I think the Challengers have got it. This is the second time on the kickoff now that the Challengers have got the football.
By Cascade.
I think it's Ragu on the bottom of the pile for the Challengers.
Well, when you talk ball hawk, that's what Ragu is.
Well, yeah, safety on defense, running back on offense.
Always where the action is. And the Challengers get it right at midfield with 22 seconds left to go in the first quarter of play. Challengers with a couple of early fumbles and penalties to begin the ball game. But otherwise, everything's going their way.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy here in the first quarter, but Coquille has lost a couple of kickoffs as well, but the Challengers have really made the offense big plays on the ground.
Ashton Moody gonna go back and throw. Pass defended well by the Red Devils. Back there on the coverage, Levi Hoyle.
Well, and some good pressure by the Red Devils, because I think Peyton Maurer was open on that deep post, but Ashton Moody's arm got hit as he went to throw the football. And that really, of course, the ball did not travel well after that.
So for the Challengers, a 2nd down and 10 with 16 seconds left to go in the first. Maurer and Almacy to the right. Over to the left, it's Freilich and Brody Sample. Almacy in motion. They'll hand it to Ragu. Ragu slips a tackler, and he rumbles ahead. Maybe just short of a first down. Picked up about 9 yards on the play.
Yeah, good cut by him right at the line of scrimmage. And that's going to be the end of the quarter, with the Challengers leading 21-0.
So the Cascade Christian Challengers. Couple of dents in the fender, but otherwise in command of things here early. We'll take a timeout, and then when we get back, we'll be here with the second quarter of play here on TableRockSports.net.
What you do when you don't know the first step in applying for Social Security disability? It's easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Daily adventures start right here at Pinnacle 365. You'll find exactly what you need for your morning motivation. Later in the day, add some crunch to your lunch with crispy, crunchy chickens, mouth-watering chicken, and chicken tenders. Wherever your next adventure takes you, we're here to keep you energized throughout the day. And our new Peak Rewards program helps you save money on fuel so you can travel further for less. Daily adventures are better with Pinnacle 365.
There's a time machine that takes you back to a world just a few streets wide. So dive into the past and let them see the world through a simpler lens called Southern Oregon. Their adventure begins when you travel Medford.
3rd down, 1.
Get ready for the start of the second quarter of play. Wind's starting to kick up a little bit, and begin to hear maybe a little bit of rumble of thunder here. We'll be keeping our eyes and ears open on that. Challengers on the 3rd and short. Hand it to Ragu. Ragu's got running room. First down and a whole lot more as he crosses the 35, gets it down to the 32, and a Challenger first down.
Yeah, and the Challengers continue to be able to run the football, especially with Ragu, as he picks up another 7 yards and a Challenger first down.
So you've heard of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. For the Challengers, it's more like 8 yards in a cloud of dust.
It certainly has been tonight. The running game has been excellent, and give a lot of credit to that offensive line.
Cameron Ragu runs into a bit of a wall there as he tries to get across the 30-yard line.
And they still think he got 3 yards, at least 3.5 yards, maybe 4 on that carry.
And that'll bring Shields into the ball game. But between the speed of Ragu and the power of Shields, pass thrown in the direction of Brody Sample, and he can't hang on.
Yeah, Brody seems to have some trouble seeing the football today. He usually doesn't drop those things, and he had a little trouble earlier with the with that punt that he was trying to catch. But it is kind of an odd night so far.
Yes, it has been.
As far as lighting and such, maybe that's bugging him.
Moody looking left. Pass complete to Sample. Sample gets the first down as he takes it inside the 15 down to about the 12.
Yeah, nice catch that time. Go right. I like it. Go right back to the same guy that didn't catch the last one, and he's able to pick up, a nice gain, about 17 yards and a Challenger first down.
Well, yeah, throwing it to Sample, that's a gamble I'll more than happily make because it's really not much of a gamble. Nice job there as the Challengers matriculate their way down the field in the immortal words of Hank Stram. 10:50 left to go in the first half of play. And now we're getting to that point in life where, Mark, fewer and fewer people know who or what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's true.
Go look it up. Nothing like some of those great old NFL films.
Yes, those are fun to watch, I tell you what.
Leap there along with Theron.
Challengers are going to have to open up the offense just a little bit more here. You can see the Red Devils starting to sort of creep up to the line of scrimmage, putting more guys in the box to try and stop the running game. The Challengers have 171 yards on the ground so far. So I think if you're Cascade Christian, it's an opportunity here to maybe throw the football as you see the Red Devils start to really come up to the line of scrimmage.
Pitch play over to Ragu. Ragu looked like he might get there, but Messerly and Hoyle there for Coquille. That'll bring up a third down as they spot the ball at the 5-yard line. A couple of yards short of a first down.
Yeah, the Challengers can get a first down at the 3.
Third and 2 at the 5. 9:24 left to go in the half. Ashton Moody claps his hands together. Hands it off. Tries to work it up the middle. Nothing doing.
Yeah, Cole only looks like a yard, so there's going to be fourth down now for the Challengers, and about a yard, maybe a yard and a half for the first down.
Ball to the 4-yard line.
Well, what do you have to kind of like here is really
1 to go.
The Challengers have all kinds of options, not the least of which is maybe perhaps Mason Hoffman kicking the football, but that looks like that is not on the table at the moment. 4th and 1, they're going to go for it.
And then coach is going to call timeout like he does a lot of times on 4th and 1.
8:45 left to go in the first half of play. Challengers in control at 21-0. We'll be right back.
George Fox.
Dear Dad, today was hard. You know how much I love you, and you know how much I love sports. I was afraid to say this to your face, but I heard you yelling again from the stands during my game. You were shouting at the coach, the refs, even the other parents. It embarrasses me when you yell at everyone. It really stresses me out. I love sports, I love to play, and I love my team. I want us both to enjoy the game, win or lose. But we can't if you always lose your temper. I hope you can cheer for me and the other players. It's about more than just the score. It's about us all enjoying the experience. I hope you can join me for my next game. I really want you to be there. Love, Katie.
4th and 1. Down to the 5-yard line. Moody takes the snap, rolls left, gets some pressure.
And he's going to be sacked. And the Challengers are going to turn over the football on downs.
Big play sack by Bo Messerly. The junior linebacker says, not this time.
Yeah, 12-yard loss on the play for the Cascade Christian Challengers. And good pressure that time from the outside by Messerly. And Ashton Moody really with nowhere to go on that play.
Challengers turn it over on downs. Red Devils are trying to come up here with an answer early in the second. Handoff Messerly.
Waylon Messerly on the carry. Cameron Ragu with the tackle.
Cameron Ragu, playmaker.
No gain on the play.
From his safety spot.
Well, you know, when the safety's making plays at the line of scrimmage, he's reading the offense pretty well. And that's what we saw right there.
And you look at the Challengers defensively. I remember back in the days when we had Dante Olson here, and he would just rack up all kinds of tackles. What's kind of nice to see for the Challengers, Ragu, the leading tackler on the team, as you mentioned, not far behind them, Brendan Van Mort, Cole Shields, Jackson Turi, Luke Wilson, Brody Sample, Christian Freilich, Tyler Almacy, all in double digits for tackles on the season.
And I don't know what's going on at the moment over there, but I saw Coach Sean rush out on the field, which you don't see very often.
No.
And so, but cooler heads look to have prevailed. I think there might have been a equipment issue or something going on out there.
At this point,
no. But they did pick up a couple of yards on that second down play, bringing up third and long now.
3rd and 9 at the Red Devils' own 16. Coming out wide to the right. Split in is Hunter Layton. Martinez dropping back, looking to throw, nearly picked off by the Challengers.
Yeah, nice job by, was that Brody Sample or was that Almacy out there? I think it was Almacy. Oh, Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
There we go. Nice play by Luke on the ball, coming to get it, knocking it down, almost picked it off, as you mentioned.
So that'll bring up 4th and 8, and really, you got to be thinking, if you're the Red Devils, really no other option than to kick it away and hope that the defense can come through for you again. Almacy, and we'll have a flag on the play.
Hey, you have to give the receiver an opportunity to catch the football, and that was not the case there. So that's going to be what they call the halo penalty against the Red Devils.
So the ball presently at the 45-yard line. Challengers will get good field position out of this. And this will buy Coach Gutman a little bit of time to
pick out a play.
Discuss a couple more items with his junior quarterback.
Yeah, fair catch interference against Coquille.
Kick interference against Coquille.
So they'll walk this one off against the Red Devils.
And a 15-yard penalty against the Red Devils. And the Challengers have it now at the 30 of Coquille. 1st and 10. See if they can convert something here after a turnover on downs down near inside the 5 on their last possession.
Ragu will join Moody in the backfield. Trip receivers out to the right side of the field with 7:01 left to go in the half. Moody hands to Ragu. Ragu, he hits that hole quickly. And a little bit of extracurricular activity after the end of the play.
Well, Ragu, the whistle had blown, and he was not being let go. And, if you're a running back, the whistle blows, you stop turning the legs. The defensive player has to let you go. And you can see where that might, you've stopped your legs moving. You can't, the defensive player has to let go of you as well, or you're both going to end up in a mess.
Kind of like throwing hands after the bell.
Exactly.
2nd and 8. They'll go ahead and go to right there. Go ahead and take it to the perimeter. Peyton Maurer with the reception. And he's down on his back at the 23-yard line. A little slow to get up, but looking no worse for wear.
I think they're going to make him come out of the game, though. And they are. So he's jogging off to the sideline. They're getting somebody else in the game.
Luke Wilson checking into the Challenger lineup. Been calling his number a lot tonight defensively, special teams.
Yes. Coquille's defense has been better against the Challengers here in the second quarter than it was in the first. Definitely seen that.
Ashton Moody fakes the handoff. He's going to keep it, and he'll run it inside the 20-yard line as the Challengers close in on the red zone.
And he picks up a Challenger big first down there.
Substitution in the ball game. Bryson Jackson checking in along that offensive line.
That's a first down, Cascade, 20-yard line.
Jack Nips coming out of the Challenger lineup momentarily. Ball spotted at the 20. First and 10 with 5:08 left to go in the half. After the Challengers got out to a blazing start, that Red Devils defense has cinched up a little bit. Just still struggling at this point to find answers offensively.
And to delay a game against the Challengers, I was wondering about that. It seemed to be them taking a long time to get that play off.
Delay of game, Cascade.
It looks like there's some confusion as you see Moody run over to the sideline to try and figure out what's going on. Maybe didn't know what play they were running, or I'm not sure.
So for the Challengers, it's just, you mentioned that conditions-wise, it's been kind of a weird night, but it's also been kind of a weird night in other ways.
Penalties especially. That's now their 5th penalty here in the first half.
The Challengers now at a 1st and 15. Ragu in the backfield with the quarterback Moody. Moody going to roll out to his left, gets a little bit of pressure, looking long for Wilson, but he can't hang on.
We've got a couple of those tonight. Challenger receivers dropping the football. And Wilson had that one in his grasp for a touchdown and just couldn't hang on. Nice throw that time by Moody, actually.
But you like the play call in the first, because if it doesn't work out, you're still...
Yeah, you're 2nd and 15, but that stretches that defense a little bit, and you can already see some of those safeties and corners playing a little bit deeper down the field.
Kind of makes you think that we might be seeing number 5 next. Cameron Ragu shakes and bakes inside the 20-yard line as he takes it down to the 18.
And he picks up about 6 yards on the play. So now the Challengers with a 3rd and 9.
Hayden Guerrero on the stop. 3rd down, 9 to go.
One thing you'll say about this Coquille defense, they have not let the Challengers just run wild like we've seen in the first 3 weeks. Definitely we're seeing a team that's a cut above what we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
Moody looking for a man, throws it wide of his intended target, Tyler Almacy.
Not a real confident-looking throw that time by Moody. Didn't really step in it. Didn't look like he was committed to the read he made, and he kind of threw it away. Now, Challengers, this is in the area, Mason cannot make a field goal, I don't think, from this would be about a 37-yard field goal. I don't think Mason has the leg to make that field goal, so they're kind of stuck, here at this part of the field where they're going to have to probably go for it, and that's why you see the offense staying out.
4th and 9 at the 19. Got a man in motion, pressure coming, and they'll swing it out to Ragu. Ragu, he picks up the first down, and he gets some more as he works it inside the 5.
Yeah, nice job. Little screen pass. Got to love the call there in that situation. Screen pass to Ragu for 16 yards and a Challenger first down inside the 5.
Number 2, Levi Hoyle with the tackle.
Well, you got to feel like that's going to give them some momentum, give them a little bit of belief.
Yeah, I love the call there. That was a great call. You could see the Coquille line and linebackers looking at the quarterback, and running back just sneaks out behind the lineman for a nice little screen catch and run.
Moody Looks right, swings a pass, it's caught.
Touchdown.
And in he goes. Touchdown, Challengers.
Touchdown, Cascade. Tyler Almacy on the return.
Tyler Almacy on the touchdown from 4 yards out. Puts the Challengers on the board again.
Show that play for you here on the replay. So you'll be throwing it over to that right side where he's got one receiver behind another for blocking, and perfectly executed play as the Challengers take it home.
Mason Hoffman set to kick.
Mason Hoffman in to attempt the point after. End over end kick. It is good.
It's good. 2:56 left in the first half.
So with 2:56 left to go in the first half of play, Challengers get a little more separation. They're up 28-0. We'll be right back after this.
Game day or a family get-together. Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
We love our sports here.
It's our responsibility to keep them great. And we need you to know your role.
You can be a player.
You can be a coach. You can be a spectator.
Or an official.
But you only get to be one. Know your role.
Parents, release your kid to the game.
It's my experience.
Don't yell at the refs. They have a hard job.
Know your role.
Players, respect your opponents.
Love to play, win or lose.
Know your role.
So what do when you get injured in a motorcycle accident and you need legal help? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Lithia and Driveway Field number 10, Jim McCoy along with Mark McLemore and David Alvarez giving you the picture. Mason Hoffman getting ready to kick off for Cascade. As you can see, with the troubles they've had tonight, it's almost where ordinarily you're not real thrilled about a kicker who doesn't kick it far, but it has presented problems for the opposition all season long. And this is another kind of one of those pooch kicks, but it looks like... Now, could I think, Mark, maybe if it were me, I would have let it go out of bounds.
Well, you certainly could have tried that, but if Almacy gets to it, because he was right there before it goes out of bounds, then the Challengers get the football. So it's a little bit tricky on those kickoffs to try and figure out exactly what you want to do against that. Preferably you would do what they did on a couple of them where they put the hand up and fair caught them.
Well, and that's why you and I talk about adventures and special teams.
Absolutely. It happens almost every week, it seems like. A few of them anyway. One team or the other.
Martinez on first down. They'll hand it inside. Messerly grinds out a couple of yards on the play. He'll get it down to, well, they're going to say actually no gain on the play. Well, we'll give him one on it.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for that running game of the Coquille Red Devils. The Challengers have been very stingy on giving up yards. They've stayed home. They've stayed in their lanes.
And once again, they try to get out on the perimeter as Hayden Guederos gets the carry. But one of those guys, you get on that side of the defense, you have to account for Jackson Turi, and he's a handful.
He's a big handful. Well, in both, you can see tonight the Challengers are playing basically a 4-4. They've moved Ragu up almost to the line of scrimmage.
Nice thought there by Coquille as the defenders pass by, almost like a draw type of action there, but it ends up being a fourth down and long as there are more than enough Challengers to make the play.
Well, and that time Daniel Nearing makes a nice tackle. The running back was forced back inside by the Challengers defense, and Nearing was able to keep his gap and make a play from his nose tackle spot for no gain that time. So Coquille has run 14 times for a total of 8 yards in this football game. That's how tough that Challenger defense has been.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Avista Utilities and our friends from Pinnacle 365, fueling your adventure. Download the Peak Rewards app to earn free fountain drinks and coffee. And you know, it's getting that time of year where our focus goes on the cold beverages to the hot ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Started out kind of warm here, but definitely as the calendar has turned towards autumn, the conditions have followed suit. And we're not complaining.
So Coach Getman with a quick timeout there to save some time for the Challengers to see if they can do something before the half.
Hoyle going to kick it away. Ball loose on the turf. Falling on it is Houston at the 37-yard line.
And there's some discussion as to whether the ball hit Peyton Maurer or not after it bounced on the ground. Because remember, if a punt bounces and hits one of the receiving team's players, it's a turnover. And it's a turnover and would be Coquille's ball. But I don't think it hit Peyton Maurer, and they're discussing that at the moment. And there's a hold against the Challengers that's going to take the ball further back from the 35. So, again, the Challenger penalties are sort of stacking up here in this one.
Coquille getting a little bit of the beneficiary of a little bit of charity on the part of the Challengers. But I just, you know, and that's the thing I always thought about coming into this ball game. We knew that compared to, and it's not disrespectful of the three opponents the Challengers have had so far, but we knew that this was going to be a higher level of football and just how, you know.
Well, it's really hard to tell how good some of the teams are in this league because there's some teams that are not very good.
Right.
And so, and Coquille not having played any of the good teams as of yet, it was hard to tell, you know, them being 3-0, how good they really were. And now we're going to start seeing some of these better teams playing each other. So that'll be interesting.
Ashton Moody trying a little shake and bake there, but he's brought down, sacked by the Coquille Red Devils.
Ashton Moody taken down in the backfield.
Moody taken down. That looks like Sherritt back there.
Back by Hunter Layton.
Hunter Layton also there for.
You know, remember that they did change that rule this year in high school football that if you're outside the pocket, you can throw the ball out of bounds past the line of scrimmage, and it does not count as an intentional grounding. So Ashton Moody's got to remember that. He was definitely outside the pocket. He had rolled out to his left. And he just has to throw the ball out of bounds past the line of scrimmage, and the Challengers, he wouldn't have had to take that 10-yard loss. So timeout, I think, on the field by the Challengers here. And the officials are still discussing something back there. I'm not exactly sure what that is.
Well, maybe who's hosting pizza after the game.
Or maybe who called the timeout. Are they still trying to figure that out?
That is possible. Ball down at the 15-yard line. And both teams setting up, ready to play. 1:19 left to go in the half. Challengers lead 28-0 in the ball game. Second down and 20. Moody looking right. Throws it out in the flat. Peyton Maurer gets the catch, but not a heck of a lot out of it.
Well, remember, they had a 10-yard penalty, Jim, so that's an 11-yard gain, actually.
That's not nothing, so yeah, I take that back.
We forgot about the penalty there.
Almacy catches the football. And he'll take it right at about the 29, about 30-yard line.
Yeah, 4 yard. Now the Challengers better get going here if they're going to try and. What are they going to do? Are they going to punt it? Are they going to run it? Well, a lot of confidence apparently in the defense. Or are they just going to let it run down and try to get a 5-yard offsides penalty?
Let's see how this plays out. And there's movement along the line.
And that's exactly what they did. Now they'll get the first down and they can continue the drive.
Haven't seen, well, to my recollection, I don't know that we've seen that this year, but with so many times in years past, Challenger quarterbacks, be it Reed or the Sean brothers, good at getting that delay call at the line. And there, interception.
No, incomplete.
Incomplete.
Pass broken up by Hayden Guerrero.
Hayden Guerreros there making the play.
Bad read that time by Moody. And
looking for Freilich there, so now Cascade Christian.
Cascade turns the ball over on down.
Oh, it was fourth and just a half a yard apparently, so that's a turnover on downs by the Challengers.
Challengers go back on defense.
I thought they gave him the first down. That's confusing to me.
Well, and it seems like we continue to have.
Well, there's a discussion going on right now. It should have been first. That should have been first down, because remember the ball was sitting on the 30. The first down mark was on the 35. That should have been the 5-yard penalty. Should have given the Challengers a first down. Boy, there's been a lot of confusion by the officials tonight. Nope, and they're saying no. Well, where they've got the ball placed right now on the last play.
Right.
So I don't understand this at all. This is incorrect refereeing.
Martinez getting pressure, looking long downfield. There to defend the pass. Great play there by Peyton Maurer defensively as they looked in the direction of Hunter Layton, and that will end the first half of football.
That's the end of the first half. The score, Cascade 28.
We head to the halftime locker room. Cascade Christian Challengers leading in what's been at times kind of a weird ball game, but nonetheless they lead. It's 28-0. We'll be back with the Medford Parks and Recreation halftime show following these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Wow, weird.
What is a getaway? Is it leaving the familiar behind? Or discovering a place that feeds your hunger? Where passion sings, food is a culture, and every performance demands an encore. So let the journey be your destination. Then feast your eyes and nourish your soul in Southern Oregon. Your reservation starts when you travel Medford.
It's Jeep Adventure Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Gladiator 4x4s or test drive a new 22 Ram 1500 Crew Cab 4x4. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. During Jeep Adventure Days, you'll save big on every new vehicle in stock only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
We only kicked off in the very beginning of the game, and they fair caught it.
I'm Pat Cox with Sherm's Food Stores. The employees of Sherm's are proud to be part of your community.
We have thousands of customers in our stores every day, and our checkers know a lot of them on a first name basis. They tend to enjoy what they do and they love it, so it reflects in how they treat the customer.
If you live anywhere in Southern Oregon, there's a Sherm's store near you. We hope to see you soon.
If you shop with us, you will save money.
Fuel up for your race day adventures with Pinnacle 365. Pit for your early morning caffeine fix to help you get off to a good start and be rewarded with free motivation. Stay hydrated as you ride into Turn 2. And if fountain drinks are your thing, get your 6th free. Add Crunch to your lunch as you head into Turn 3. Fuel up for the remainder of the race with your Peak Rewards app and save at least 16 cents a gallon. Your daily journey to the winner's circle starts at Pinnacle 365.
14.
It's halftime, and today's halftime report is brought to you by the Medford Parks and Recreation Department. The Fall Recreation Guide is out. Did you know it's full of classes and activities for our friends 55 and older? Visit playmedford.com or call 541-774-2400 to find out more. Jim McCoy here along with Mark McLemore. While Mark is crunching some numbers right now, let's go ahead and maybe take a look back at a couple of the big plays from the first half. Here in the first quarter, scoreless ball game. Ragu goes to the leading rusher on the team, Cameron Ragu, coming in with 180 yards on the evening. He gets the Challengers started out right with a 45-yard run, and that point after attempt by Hoffman is good to make it 7-0. 7-0 ball game later in the first. Challengers rumble up the field, and it's Cameron Ragu off to the races once again. He outruns the posse of red and white jerseys, and he puts the Challengers up by a pair of scores. Challengers later in the first quarter. Now here's Ragu again. Kind of lost my place there in the tray, but hey, it's worth seeing twice. Nice run by Cameron Ragu. So that was 2 touchdowns for the Challenger sophomore running back. Then here in the second quarter, the Challengers get a touchdown pass from Ashton Moody to Brody, this is to Brody Sample. The 2-point run good by Moody to make it a 21-0 ball game, and then finally capping off the scoring is a touchdown pass to Tyler Almacy. I believe we've got that here right now. So Challengers, a pair of touchdowns through the ground game, Cameron Ragu, and then a pair of TD passes from Ashton Moody, one to Almacy and one to Brody Sample. Here's that TD pass to Almacy. Gets some nice blocking over there, runs it down in the corner. And the Challengers up by 4 touchdowns. It's a 28-0 ball game. We'll pause to recognize our sponsors, and when we return, we'll be back with more of the Medford Parks and Recreation Halftime Report right here on TableRockSports.net.
What do you do when you get into a car accident and want to know your rights? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
It's Jeep Adventure Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Gladiator 4x4s or test drive a new 22 Ram 1500 Crew Cab 4x4. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. During Jeep Adventure Days, you'll save big on every new vehicle in stock only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
So what do you do when you get injured on the job and need to know your rights with workers' compensation? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
At halftime, this halftime report brought to you by the Medford Parks and Recreation Department. They invite you to discover all the great classes, field trips, activities, and sports leagues for the fall activities coming up. Visit playmedford.com to find something for everyone in the family. And weird ball game, and I know just some of the things you pointed out to me, some pretty weird stats to boot.
Well, the Challenger defense has just really been dominant. You look at Coquille's stats in the first half. They ran the ball 14 times for just 8 yards. Passing, unfortunately, hasn't been much better for them either, with Martinez being 1 for 5 for -3 yards. So total offense for Coquille, they didn't have any returns, 5 yards of offense in that first half. So the Challenger defense has been very dominant. Penalties, Coquille had 4 for 30 yards in penalties. And they had those 2 fumbled kickoffs that the Challengers turned, I think, one of them into a touchdown, maybe both. I'm not remembering exactly if that's true or not, but I think at least one of them got turned into a Challenger touchdown. So, they've given the Challengers a short field. They haven't been able to run very many offensive plays because I don't think they, obviously they don't have a first down yet either. And so they've only ran a total of 19 plays in the first half. The Challengers, on the other hand, ran the ball 19 times for 167 yards. Ashton Moody was 8 for 14 for 78 yards. The Challengers had 8 first downs in that first half. Had 40 yards in returns, mostly on punts, for a total offense for Cascade Christian of 285 yards in the first half. Penalties, the Challengers had a few of those, 6 penalties in the first half for 55 yards, and they also had a couple of fumbles where they turned the ball over uncharacteristically, and they had 2 turnovers on downs. So you count the 2 turnovers down and 2 fumbles, the Challengers had 4 turnovers in that first half and still scored 28 points. So it was a little bit of a messy game for both teams, but the one thing that has been constant and has been very good throughout the season so far is that Challenger defense, and we saw that again here in the first half.
Well, it's the type of situation where, seems like offense comes and goes. You know that if you're going to win a championship, that what you need is a good defense, and they can certainly feel good about not only tonight, but their defensive play all year. And, well, not only that, but the Challengers doing a nice job on special teams. It gets maybe a little bit of wild and crazy, here and there, but
and what I like,
they've been solid.
Yeah, what I like about the defense is they've had to adapt to different offensive styles. I think we've seen, different offensive styles in almost all of the games we played, with tonight being a very different one. And you saw the Challengers kind of go to almost like a 4-4 front against this Coquille offense that, they would love to just run the ball, but the Challengers have not let them do that. 14 carries for 8 yards is not going to get you much. And so defensively it's been stellar for the Challengers. So it'll be interesting to see how this second half goes and if the Challenger focus can remain the same. If the Red Devils can figure out a way to move the ball against Cascade Christian Challengers, because so far, -3 yards passing, 8 yards rushing, 5 yards of total offense, not going to get you much at all. Your defense is out there a long time playing against that Challenger high-powered offense.
Well, one of the challenges when we looked at our lineups for tonight, that they've got 9 of their starters that play on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and that's always tough. And you look at the Challengers, they've done a lot better job. They've got a lot more depth this year, I think, than we've seen in a long time of mixing guys up and not having as many two-way starters.
Absolutely. Well, Table Rock Sports wants to thank our regional sponsors, including Sherm's Thunderbird and Food for Less, John L. Scott Real Estate, and Travel Medford, and the Southern Oregon Sports Commission. Great partners in keeping high school athletics streaming for you. We're making our way through halftime. At the intermission, the Cascade Christian Challengers lead the Coquille Red Devils. We'll take a 2-minute break, and when we return, we'll get you ready for the second half here on TableRockSports.net.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
You do when you don't know the first step in applying for Social Security disability? It's easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Daily adventures start right here at Pinnacle 365. You'll find exactly what you need for your morning motivation. Later in the day, add some crunch to your lunch with crispy, crunchy chicken's mouth-watering chicken and chicken tenders. Wherever your next adventure takes you, we're here to keep you energized throughout the day. And our new Peak Rewards program helps you save money on fuel so you can travel further for less. Daily adventures are better with Pinnacle 365.
There's a time machine that takes you back to a world just a few streets wide. So dive into the past and let them see the world through a simpler lens called Southern Oregon.
We've got a battle of the Norths and the battle of the Souths this evening. North Medford playing host to North Salem this evening. See if we can't get an update for you on that game. Some scores to pass along to you before we get ready for the start of the second half. One thing we can tell you right now is that South Salem trailing the South Bedford Panthers 27-21. Also in action tonight, we got South Salem.
I know you missed me over the holidays, but don't worry, because we're back with another Tape Rocks.
And tried to call those up.
Looks like North Salem is up 13-10 on North Medford at the moment.
All right.
That is in the third quarter.
We're just moments away from the start of the second half. The halftime show brought to you by PlayMedford.com, where you can learn more about Discovery Preschool for 3-year-olds and day camps for older kids. Registration for fall is happening right now. Go sign up at PlayMedford.com or call the Santos Center at 774-2400 to get started. Start of the second half. A pair of undefeated teams coming into this ball game. The Challengers and the Red Devils both coming in at 3-0 for this ball game. Next week, Challengers go to a place they haven't been in quite some time, and that's the trip up the road to the Merlin area and North Valley this next Friday night. And then for you Challenger fans listening along the way, 2 weeks from tonight, it'll be Challenger Homecoming. And be sure to visit the Challenger Facebook page, Challenger social media, and you keep up to date on some of the festivities coming up on that. I know that you're going to be, we'll find out who the homecoming court is coming up this week, and a lot of fun and festivity coming up in a couple of weeks as the Challengers play host to the Phoenix Pirates, who are playing down in our league this year.
Yeah, another score to pass along. Lakeview leading St. Mary's 12-7 in the third quarter over at Lakeview.
So that could shake things up a little bit.
Actually, looks like they're playing maybe at Mazama High School. Do you know where that game was supposed to be tonight?
I don't. But I'm sure.
Because it's on a turf field. I don't remember Lakeview having a turf field. And it looks like there's a Viking in the middle of it, which kind of makes me think that maybe that game is at Mazama tonight.
We'll have to take a look over here. And that's where resources like OSAA.org is really handy for us in terms of keeping us up on such things, because I suppose I wouldn't be real surprised if you're a fan of St. Mary's, you're glad not to have to go all the way over to Lakeview.
Absolutely. And so, 12-7 Lakeview in the third quarter.
Well, on Lakeview, another one of those teams that they were down for a couple of years and have come back up, have they not?
Yes, that's correct. They were in the 2A the last cycle, the last 4 years. And with a few more students enrolled, they have moved up now to back into the 3A.
So the Challengers start out the second half with the football. Brody Sample, Tyler Almacy back deep to await the kick from the Red Devils. Getting ready to kick it away will be Cameron Houston, sophomore. Coquille, mentioned them being down in the 2A ranks. They were 2A state champions last year.
Yeah, very good football program. Lost a lot of seniors, though, off that squad from last year.
So a young team tonight, and we've seen this with the cycles that the Challengers program has gone through, that you get a big senior class, and then you got a lot of holes to fill, a lot of young guys, and maybe you don't always get the results that you like, but you grow through it, and then by the time those younger guys become juniors and seniors, then you really start to see that experience pay off.
Yeah, you have a really good crew, really good football team at that point.
And it is Hoyle kicking it away. Challengers in the return game. Slicing and dicing his way up the middle. That's Brody Sample. Challengers will take the football at their own 39-yard line to open the second half.
Yeah, nice return by Brody, about 20, 25 yards on that. Sets the Challengers up in good shape for this first offensive series of the second half.
Houston making a stop on that special teams play, and Challengers. The twins to the left side are Almacy in the slot. Sample out wide. Moody. Ragu behind him in the backfield. He'll take it on first down. We've seen this play do good things, and Ragu, who had come into the ball game averaging about 12 yards a carry, well, he gets just about that on the first running play from scrimmage here in the second half.
Well, that offensive line has just been doing a tremendous job of opening holes for him. And the Challengers now up to 180 yards rushing in this football game.
I'll give a call to that offensive line. We see Bryson Jackson in there along with Matt Moses, Jackson Terry, Daniel Nearing, Matt Moses, Liam Bonatti, Ragu with it again. No, I'll never live that down.
No, you won't.
Down to the 42. You're saying the real Magoo's up in the broadcast booth.
Well, he Magooed his way around, I guess, for 5 yards right there.
Ball now at the 43-yard line, second down and 5. Nice pickup for Cameron Ragu here as we open up the third quarter of play. Moody, quick out to Brody Sample. He has blocking in front of him, crosses the 30-yard line, down to the 20, gets it inside the 15-yard line. Nice to see Sample making plays. He had his ups and downs tonight, but he's definitely had some ups.
Yeah, and that's a 22-yard reception on a little screen pass. Some nice blocking out in front of him by the receiver on his side really opened that up for him. Good pass, catch, and run all the way around. Nice, much better timing that time for the Challengers on that throw and catch.
So ball down to the 15-yard line of Coquille.
And we've got somebody who doesn't have their mouth guard in. That's usually that whistle and the action that I saw from the referee. And I heard that was going to be sort of a renewed point of emphasis. Is this equipment? They call it a false start, but it's still an equipment violation if you don't have your mouth guard in.
Well, considering the potential consequences of that,
it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, you don't want to be picking up a mouthful of teeth off the turf.
No, that's no fun.
Moody dropping back, looking for Almacy, but overthrows his target. He had his man back there. So that'll bring up a second down and 15 for Cascade Christian. 10:26 to go in the third. Opening drive for the Challengers. Leading in the ball game 28-0.
So
looking to gain a little more separation. Moody hands to Ragu, or no, actually, he'll take off and run with it himself, and he runs it home.
20-yard touchdown. And a good fake, really sold that. Saw the good read by Moody as he sees the defensive end crash, and he's supposed to keep the ball when that happens. And he just keeps it and goes right around the end. A nice block out there by Peyton Maurer to get him into the end zone. And the Challengers go over the 200-yard rushing mark for the game, and he picks up a 20-yard scamper and puts the Challengers back on the board again.
Well, I think that's definitely worth a replay here. Moody doing a great job. Ragu also good, working in concert with them. You know, I got this thing all messed up. But anyway, the point after attempt by Hoffman is good. 35-0 ball game. Challengers lead. 10:17 left to go in the third quarter of play. We'll be right back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Any time is a good time to plan your funeral, except at the time of the funeral. At Conger Morris, we know that there are so many advantages to planning ahead. It eases the burden on our families at their worst time. Pre-planning also alleviates their stress, knowing the funeral costs are already taken care of. And it allows your service to be more meaningful, with all of your wishes being taken care of. Call us today for personalized assistance in creating your own plan. Conger Morris, we'll always be there.
Uh-oh. The victory cigar's in on kick coverage.
Oh, boy. They'll carry him down the field with them.
There you go.
All right, Challengers getting ready to kick it away. Mason Hoffman. End over end kick.
That one's going to go out of bounds.
And
that's the one thing you really don't want to do is kick it out of bounds because they automatically get it at the 35 of your 35 or their 35, excuse me. And so, do we have another penalty flag, or is there just the one? Because they look like they're confused again. This refereeing crew hasn't exactly looked like.
Hasn't been their best night.
Well, they just keep, there's a lot of discussions and it's kind of dragging the football game out because they can't seem to figure out what they're doing out there.
Looking a little unsure of themselves.
And even right now, we're seeing some of that. But looks like they've got it somewhat figured out. Maybe.
We guess.
No, now they're talking to Coquille and wanting to make sure they want the football at the 35 or if they want Cascade to re-kick it. Because remember, you do have the choice.
Right.
So, normally they just go, they have the guy talk to the coach over on the sideline and they decide that before now. But now they're just, okay, they're going to put it in play finally.
All right. Red Devils at their own 35-yard line.
I thought we were going to have a call to the Supreme Court to make sure we got this one right, but
or the review booth back in New York.
Yeah, one or the other.
And then busting it loose, Guterres, longest run of the night for the Red Devils. For the fans that have made the trip down here to the Rogue Valley, they get a little something to cheer on here in the third quarter of play.
Yeah, 21-yard run and a first down, the first one of the game for Coquille.
I'm sure the Red Devils thought that this would be, a tough matchup for them, but I don't know if they quite anticipated all this. But once again, we see what is pretty much defensively the story of the night for the Challengers.
And you can see that the Red Devils running backs, they're tough guys.
They are.
The Challengers doing a good job of plugging all the holes and not giving them anywhere to go.
Running that wing T formation with that, a pair of backs, a pair of tight ends, giving some blocking. And now running with the football, getting some opportunities here. And that is number 27, Thomas Farron.
And runs into Ragu, who's taking care of that side of the outside leverage on that side of the field.
So third down, 5 to go. 39-yard line of Cascade Christian.
Deepest penetration of the game for Coquille.
Farron remains in the backfield with Gaderos. And they'll go ahead and try to get it out to the outside. Ball's loose. I would think that would have been down before it came out.
And yeah, the official is saying it's down at the 40-yard line.
Nonetheless, another tough defensive play for Cascade Christian, denying the perimeter and sealing off that edge.
And Cameron Ragu doing a good job of not letting the running back get outside of him, forcing him back to the middle and then actually making the tackle on that play. So a loss of a yard. That brings up fourth and 6 now, and it looks like the offense is staying on the field.
4th down and 7. I want to know what his mom feeds him for breakfast because that motor never stops. Martinez looking in the direction of Farmer, but nothing happening there. It'll be turnover on downs as Cascade takes it back. As we work our way midway through the third quarter of play.
And again, the Challenger defense comes up with a huge stop and a turnover on downs for the Red Devils.
Ragu will now line up in the backfield for Cascade along with the quarterback Ashton Moody. Trips out to the left. Moody gonna throw. Pass complete to Sample. Sample gets a Challenger first down as he works his way down into Red Devil territory.
Yeah, nice completion, and I love Brody's acceleration after the catch, where he accelerates through it and picks up an 18-yard gain and a first down for the Challengers.
Well, there's just speed everywhere between he and Almacy, Luke Wilson.
Well, and Ragu out of the backfield, right?
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. Moody. Hey, if it worked before, let's do it again. And that will take Sample down inside the 30-yard line.
To the 28. And another Challenger first down. Last 3 passes have been completed to Brody in a row.
They're talking about a flag on the play, and that's going to be against the Challengers.
Oh, so
kind of a late call.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a late call to me. So that's like the 3rd or 4th holding penalty on the Challengers now.
And besides the couple of fumbles, if there's been trouble for the Challengers tonight, it has been in the penalty department.
So that one comes all the way back.
So you know that's going to be a point of emphasis for the Challenger Brain Trust this week.
Yeah, that's 1st and 20 now for the Challengers.
Moody, quarterback, keeper. He'll go ahead and take it to the outside. He runs down the far sideline and gets it down inside the 25.
26-yard run by Moody. I love it when he makes that right call and keeps the football. He has those receivers, too. You saw them blocking out in front of him.
Well, you talk about speed. The quarterback's got some, too.
Yeah, no kidding. He can move. He really can. 231 yards rushing now for the Challengers unofficially, and another first down for Cascade Christian as they continue to move the football. Haven't had to punt so far tonight. It's 35-0. They have turned it over a couple of times on downs, and they have fumbled it.
Well, you know what? I don't think, as Ragu runs with the football, he'll go ahead and take it up the edge, and he scores.
25 yards on the touchdown run for Ragu. That's his third run over 20 for a touchdown tonight.
So Cascade Christian giving the hometown faithful something to cheer about here in the third quarter. All kinds of brilliant running on this drive, and as you've talked about before, offensive line playing their part in making that happen.
Yeah, Ragu doing a bunch of nice cuts and sort of there were some missed tackles on Coquille's part that helped along the way, but a beautiful run by him from 25 yards out for the touchdown.
Well, I can tell you, I don't readily recall a runner quite as shifty as Ragu in the annals of Challenger history.
Well, he runs very straight up, and we're not used to seeing that for number one. And number two, he tends to have, like you said, he's very shifty, and it looked like he missed the extra point, and he did.
Dear Dad, today was hard. You know how much I love you, and you know how much I love sports. I was afraid to say this to your face, but I heard you yelling again from the stands during my game. You were shouting at the coach, the refs, even the other parents. It embarrasses me when you yell at everyone. It really stresses me out. I love sports, I love to play, and I love my team. I want us both to enjoy the game, win or lose. But we can't if you always lose your temper. I hope you can cheer for me and the other players. It's about more than just the score. It's about us all enjoying the experience. I hope you can join me for my next game. I really want you to be there. Love, Katie.
Yeah.
41-0 ball game. Challengers getting set to kick it away to Coquille as we got time beginning to wind down here in the third quarter of play. Challengers with a brilliant drive, big play runs by Moody and Ragu. Also saw a lot of good pitch and catch between the Challenger quarterback and Brody Sample.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ashton Moody with that run that really set up the score. And you mentioned it, a lot of speed out there at quarterback as well.
Peyton Lee wraps it up, and the Red Devils will take it at their own 25-yard line. 2:34 left to go in the third quarter of play.
25-yard line. First and 10.
Yeah, the Red Devils really haven't had very much offensively go their way in this one. Just the one first down and the 121-yard run that went along with it up the middle of that Challenger defense. But other than that, the Challengers have done a great job of playing downhill defensively.
Hayden Guerrero's the ball carrier.
Guerrero's not getting far there, and they're in the middle in the mix of it all. Just quietly going about his business defensively for the Challengers, Brendan Van Wart.
And Jackson Turi in there as well from his linebacker end spot. And both those guys met at the ball carrier in the backfield. And I guess he did manage to get back to the line of scrimmage, but that was about it.
So that'll bring up a second down and 10. Martinez under center. He's rolling out, gets some pressure from Turi. He's going to go ahead and take off and run with it. But he is wrapped up about the 28-yard line.
With the keeper, tackled by Cameron Ragu.
And Cameron Ragu doing his thing once again. Cameron Ragu doing Cameron Ragu things.
Well, they've got him out on the edge on that far side of the field, and instead of their normal 3-4 alignment, it looks like they're almost running like a 4-4 against this Coquille defense, or offense, I should say. The Challengers running sort of like a 4-4, trying to kind of counteract what's going on with Coquille. And I think we got a false start on Coquille this time.
Well, one thing for sure, you know that.
No, maybe it's offsides on the Challengers.
We'll have to see what the call is here on that. Trying to see if we can't get a score on that St. Mary's.
It is
Lakeview
offsides
game.
on the Challengers. And what's weird about that call, to be honest with you, is I thought you were supposed to let the play run when it's defensive offsides at the snap.
I have a report from, looks like Mazama actually, but St. Mary's leading Lakeview now 16-12.
Yeah, there you go.
So Coach Jamie Young and company trying to make a run here, taking the lead, and great defensive play from Cascade Christian. Brody Sample stopping Farron.
Yeah, he actually lost about 5 or 6 yards on that play.
And that will wind up the third quarter of play. After 3, it is Cascade Christian 41. The Coquille Red Devils, nothing. We'll be right back after these messages.
It's game day or a family get-together. Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
We love our sports here.
It's our responsibility to keep them great. And we need you to know your role.
You can be a player.
You can be a coach. You can be a spectator.
Or an official.
But you only get to be one.
Know your role.
Parents, release your kid to the game.
It's my experience.
Don't yell at the refs. They have a hard job.
Know your role.
Players, respect your opponents.
Love to play, win or lose.
Know your role.
So what do when you get injured in a motorcycle accident and you need legal help? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Ball punted away. Falls to the turf.
Ball down by Cameron Houston.
Here as we start it in the fourth quarter. Cameron Houston there for Coquille.
The Challengers take over.
Short field here to begin the fourth. And it looks like we have some substitutions in the ball game.
Yeah, not surprising. Those other players can come in the game now.
And one of them, the Challenger Victory Cigar.
And he's in.
Kellen Klecker making an appearance this evening. Split out wide to the right. Christopher Freilich, slot on his side. On first down, pass complete. Out in the flat. Challengers moving the ball methodically here.
Pass complete to Brody Sample.
Brody Sample there, and he's had a busy night.
He certainly has. He's had a lot of catches tonight and picked up quite a few yards here and there as he has went along. Picks up about 13 there and another Challenger first down.
A little bunch formation there for the Challengers. And then Challengers go to the ground game.
Who's that running that football? I don't.
Oh,
Van Wert.
Van Wert getting a little action on the offensive side of the football tonight. Brendan Van Wert, he starts at linebacker on defense. But with the Challenger depth chart being what it is, I think this may be his first carry of the season.
Yeah, I think it is.
Have another substitution in the ball game for Cascade. Looks like Jaden Dykes is into the ball game. Freshman. Pass complete. Kellen Klecker making the catch. And he's at the 31-yard line. Got to be a flag on that.
Yeah.
Kellen Klecker with the reception. Penalty flag on the play.
So picks up a couple of yards on the reception, and then there's going to be a penalty, I think, tacked on to that.
Yeah. I think the term that they would use would be unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, I think so. Although that was a little tricky to me to call.
Yeah.
Because, one guy's got a hold of him from the top and another guy's got a hold of him from the bottom. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I don't think they're trying to do something,
no.
to even though it turns into that because they kind of slam him down.
Right.
I just don't, I'm not sure I'm throwing that flag, especially in this part of the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean.
Yeah.
But they did, and.
So, certainly this one not going to have any real bearing on the outcome of the ball game.
I think that might make Kellen Klecker's first catch of the year, too.
I believe you are right.
He picked up a couple of yards on that play before getting tossed to the ground.
Looks like we've got Caleb Scaglione in the ball game at QB.
Yeah, and he drops the football and
he loses the handle on it. Looks like a recovery for Coquille.
Fumbled.
And the third turnover of the game by the Challengers via the fumble.
Riley Jones, junior defensive lineman, making the play there for Coquille.
So the defense back out. After some of those younger kids, they got some experience there, though, and they moved the football, a little bit down the field before turning it over. But the Challengers are not going to be happy with the 3 fumbles they've surrendered tonight, and as to go along with a couple of turnovers on downs, one inside the 5-yard line. But they are going to be very happy with how their defense has played tonight.
Absolutely. Oh, there'll definitely be some things to work on. No question about that. Farron trying to make a move there, and Cole Shields there for Cascade Christian.
Yep.
Shields and Ragu on the stop.
Shields kind of the everyman for that Challenger defense in the sense that he's just one of those guys that quietly goes out and gets a lot done.
Yes, he does. Well, I don't know if you noticed the first play. No, it wasn't the first play. But it was on the first time Coquille had the ball. They ran a little trap play up the middle, and he was standing in the hole and just drilled the poor running back. And I think that was pretty much a tone setter for that defense for tonight.
Martinez under center, little pitch play, looking like maybe a halfback pass, but it is picked off by Cascade Christian.
Brody Sample on the interception.
Pass intercepted by Tyler Almasi.
No, it's Brody Sample, but okay.
Oops. Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Brody, wasn't it? Anyway.
Well, we'll see here.
You got the replay. Give it to us.
All right, let's see.
Ball is placed at the Coquille 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Challengers.
See, Martinez throws it. It's just hard to tell, Mark, but I think it's Sample.
Yeah, I think it is too. Anyway, Challengers have the football now. They're the Coquille 24-yard line, 1st and 10.
Scaglione, pass complete to Wilson. Wilson shakes a would-be tackler. He's got running room up the sideline, keeps his feet, and he gets pushed out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, a nice job by Wilson there. Making a couple of really nice moves and picking up about 25 yards on that reception.
Matlock there making a touchdown-saving tackle.
On the stop.
5:17 left to go in the ball game. Challenger youngsters getting their opportunities here late in the ball game.
Yep.
And so
I'm voting for the victory cigar on a fly sweep here. What do you think?
I like it.
All right. Why not, right?
Right. Challengers. Down at the 1. Instead, they're going to hand to and getting the touchdown, Jackson Turi.
Oh, I like that better anyway. The senior.
You know, I left that on there for too long. There. So last week, Liam Bonatti got an opportunity, came off the offensive line, and he scored a touchdown. And now Jackson Turi gets into the act.
Yeah, I wonder how long they practice that handoff to those big guys going in for the touchdown.
What do you think? Maybe they're saying, I'm thinking they're going to save Moses for senior night. Yeah, imagine that shades of the refrigerator.
Yeah, no doubt. I wouldn't want to be the linebacker that has to deal with that at the end zone.
So Klecker will hold on the point after. And
it's good.
An ugly-looking kick, but
he got it.
So Challengers
That brings the score to 48-0.
on a plunge by Jackson Turi, lead 48-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Any time is a good time to plan your funeral, except at the time of the funeral. At Conger Morris, we know that there are so many advantages to planning ahead. It eases the burden on our families at their worst time. Pre-planning also alleviates their stress, knowing the funeral costs are already taken care of. And it allows your service to be more meaningful, with all of your wishes being taken care of. Call us today for personalized assistance in creating your own plan. Conger Morris, we'll always be there.
And looks like Dylan Westlake will try one.
Why not? Challengers goalkeeper 2 seasons ago in that spring 2021 season. And he got some nice, powerful boots away.
Well, it's a little different kicking a football, but you would think he could figure it out, right?
I think so. I have confidence in him. Little end over end kick.
And that wasn't much better.
No.
I would think, he should do it just like he does soccer, like with 1 or 2 steps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of trying to take a big run up like that. But, he'll keep practicing, I'm sure.
Yes. Today's game is brought to you by Schlesinger and DeVilleneuve, attorneys with practices throughout Southern Oregon, and the Southern Oregon Sports Commission's Know Your Role campaign, promoting respectful and civil behavior at youth sporting events. 3:46 left to go in the ball game. Coquille Red Devils on offense. Gabe Martinez coming in from the sideline. Hunter Layton wearing number 10. He's the split end. So we're seeing a lot of those starters. And again, I think they got a lot of guys out, but I'm thinking that probably there's just not a lot of experience on that team. And so they continue to soldier on with the guys they started with.
And I think they fumbled the snap, Jim. And it's going to be Challenger football.
When it rains, it pours. And it's been that kind of night, but Challengers opportunistic and come away with the fumble recovery. So in spite of a few miscues of their own, still making that giveaway takeaway ratio looking good. Before tonight, they hadn't fumbled all season.
Yeah. And tonight they got 3.
They've made up for it tonight.
Yeah, well, hopefully they get that out of their system before they play somebody like South Umpqua, right?
Right. Jackson Freilich was like, oh, yeah, I guess I better get out there.
Well, they didn't have enough receivers on the field. And they handed it to Van Wert.
Van Wert keeping his feet, barreling his way down to the 30-yard line.
12 yards on the carry. And another first down for Cascade Christian.
Christopher Freilich in there along with Kellen Klecker. Also Luke Wilson in as a receiver. Looks like we've got Zach Cook in the ball game as a lineman.
And it looks like the Challengers are going to take a knee, I think, from here on out.
1:44 to go.
They're waiting for the back referee to put his hand up and tell him that it's 5 seconds to go, and he does.
Oh. Defensive lineman caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
And so that'll do it for the ball game, really. There's a 1 minute left on the clock. It's going to run down, I would think they'll run it down inside the 40 seconds or the 35 seconds and then take a knee. And that will do it for the ball game. The Challengers with a really impressive, especially defensive effort tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, now you figure 4 games into the season, and they surrendered just 12 points the entire year.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
You'll win a lot of football games doing that.
Well, and when you hold the other team to 22 rushing attempts for just 30 yards, that'll win you a lot of games too.
Yeah, certainly not what Coquille had envisioned for their ball game. So the seconds will wind down on the clock. The outcome of this game keeps the Challengers unbeaten on the season as they go to 4-0. Coquille incurs their first defeat of the season and slipped to 3-1. And Cascade Christian coming away winners 48-0. We'll take a timeout, and when we return, we'll be back with the Know Your Role postgame show here on TableRockSports.net.
Taking a look around your seat and looking for any trash, we sure would appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming to tonight's game.
Okay. Ooh. So 19 and 5 is 24. 27. 27 carries for 277 yards. That's, over 10 yards a carry. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. And he had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 for 19 for 152.
Game day or a family get-together. Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
We love our sports here.
It's our responsibility to keep them great. And we need you to know your role.
You can be a player.
You can be a coach. You can be a spectator.
Or an official.
But you only get to be one.
Know your role.
Parents, release your kid to the game.
It's my experience.
Don't yell at the refs. They have a hard job.
Know your role.
Players, respect your opponents.
Love to play, win or lose.
Know your role.
So what do you do when you get injured in a motorcycle accident and you need legal help? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Welcome back and welcome to the Know Your Role postgame show. Visit travelmedford.org and search the Know Your Role to see how this campaign is changing the culture of youth sports for the better. Recapping the score in tonight's ball game. Challengers opened up. Big run from Cameron Ragu, a 45-yarder, and he scampers in. Mason Hoffman adds the cherry on top with the point after. It's a 7-0 ball game. Then they turn Cameron Ragu loose once again with 7:47 to go in the first. Ragu 58 yards out on this one. Point after no good to make it 13-0. Then in the first quarter, Ashton Moody throws a 3-yard touchdown pass to Brody Sample. The 2-point conversion run by Moody good to make it 21-0. Then in the second quarter, Moody once again goes to the air. Little pass to Al Macy, who scores, and the point after good to make it 28-0. Then in the third quarter, it was Ashton Moody showing off his wheels, and he runs one in from 20 yards out. The point after good to make it 35-0. Then Cameron Ragu gets on the scoring column for his third touchdown of the night, a 25-yard run. Point after no good to make it 41-0. And then at the end of the ball game, the defensive lineman, Jackson Turry gets his turn, and the Challengers convert the point after to make it 48-0, which is your final score. Standing by, here's Mark McLemore with a look at the final stats.
Well, and it was domination by the Challengers tonight. We thought we might have a football game tonight, Coquille coming in with 3-0, but I tell you what, the Challenger defense just showed again how good they are this year. Coquille ends the ball game with just one first down. They ran the ball 22 times for just 30 yards passing. Not a very good night for them either. 1 for 7 for -3 yards. So total offense in the game for Coquille, just 27 yards of total offense. They had 5 penalties for 45 yards, and they turned it over 3 times on fumbles, and a couple of those coming on kickoffs, and they also had 1 turnover on down. So it was a really rough night for them. But for the Challengers, they weren't clean, like we've seen so far this season. They did have a couple of turnovers on downs. They had 3 fumbles that they lost in this game when they hadn't lost one all year. But the rest of the stats pretty dominating. They did have 17 first downs in this football game. Ran the ball 27 times for 277 yards. That's a little over 10 yards a carry running the football. Moody, 13 for 19. He had a really good second half. 13 for 19 for 152 yards of offense through the air, and then 60 yards in returns, 489 yards of total offense for the Challengers in the football game. The one other bugaboo the Challengers had tonight was the penalties, 9 of them for 75 yards. It's been a while since we've seen a Challenger team have that many penalties. So some things to clean up definitely offensively on the penalties, on the turnovers. But all in all, a dominant performance, really highlighted by the defense, I thought, tonight, but for the Challengers.
Well, with that, the Cascade Christian Challengers go to 4-0 on the season. And a report as we check on the scoreboard from Table Rock Sports, we have St. Mary's 19, Lakeview 18 in the fourth quarter of play.
Tight one there.
Yeah, so that's quite a ball game. We'll keep an eye out for that. And big defensive play I see on the screen right now by St. Mary's. So that's going to wrap up tonight's ball game. We thank you for watching our broadcast. We'd like to thank Cascade Christian High School Athletic Director Nate Maben for hosting the Lithia Superstore Game of the Night on TableRockSports.net and today's broadcast. Our special thanks to head coaches Dave Thomason and John Getman. Our next feature of Cascade Christian football will be next Friday night when the Challengers take to the road to take on the North Valley Knights. And that game will get underway at 7 o'clock. Look for us to go to air about 6:45, 6:50. Again, the final score on the John L. Scott scoreboard, Cascade Christian 48, Coquille 0. This has been a special presentation of Table Rock Sports. Our executive producer, Joe Brett. With Mark McLemore and David Alvarez, I'm Jim McCoy saying thanks for watching and good night from Lithia and Driveway Fields in Medford, Oregon. And that